We're looking at some pictures that came in the last few minutes, and as you can see, European leaders, the Canadian Prime Minister, all embracing President Zelenskyy inside Lancaster House in the lower hall where this summit is taking place. They have showed their solidarity to the Ukrainian leader after that disastrous meeting at the Oval Office with President Donald Trump on Friday. President Zelenskyy traveled virtually immediately after that fell apart on Friday to London, where he was welcomed with open arms, literally, by Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer here in London, in Downing Street, and to the cheers of many supporters who had gathered on the streets outside 10 Downing Street. And then, of course, this summit, which was in the diary for some time, part of a carefully choreographed week of diplomacy. We saw the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, arrive at the White House last Monday. It was also 3 years since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And then just a few days later, Sir Keir Starmer was at the Oval Office, and he was described as Charmer Starmer at the time because the meeting, the optics of it went so well. And then, of course, that blow-up that we saw at the Oval Office between the Ukrainian president and President Donald Trump. Now, we're hearing from some of the U.S. administration officials, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. We've also heard in the last half an hour or so from the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz has said that President Zelenskyy needs to show that he wants peace. And Marco Rubio has said that he has not spoken to President Zelenskyy since things fell apart and disintegrated on Friday. But you were looking at some of those images of European leaders gathering around President Zelenskyy, embracing him, which they often do when they've gone in the middle of this conflict to visit him in Kiev, when they've welcomed him over the course of the last 3 years to European capitals. He has arrived and they have welcomed him, but it is crucial in this moment for a president that was confronted in the Oval Office. And there were calls for his resignation at the time from senators who were outraged that he had confronted Donald Trump, that this meeting had turned out the way that it had. I spoke to Ukrainians who say they were traumatized, not just from 3 years of war, but what unfolded in the Oval Office. And so President Zelenskyy arriving here at this summit in the last hour or so, and then inside we could see the leaders there embracing him and showing their support and solidarity for this beleaguered leader who was welcomed into European capitals as a hero for the last 3 years. But that's not how it unfolded for him on Friday at the Oval Office.